I'm Lauren Badger. I'm a high school student from Houston, Texas. Michelle Porter. I'm with the East Central program.
Welcome to Household Hustle. Hello, my name is Tiana Reese, and I am host of this game show called the Household Hustle. The higher the question, the harder it is. Let's start with our contestants. Please tell us a little about yourselves.
Hi, I'm Sam Johnson. I work in the data centers of La Costa to make sure that they are running smoothly.
Hi, I'm Lucy Calkins. I'm a doctor and I specialize in installation of 3D body parts here in La Costa.
Okay, let's start with Sam. Please choose a question.
How about structural for 100?
How do you get electricity throughout the city?
We have solar panels, which capture energy from the sun and put them into sodium-ion batteries, which charge faster, last longer, and are cheaper than the normal lithium batteries. From there, it is distributed throughout these 4 platforms by underground electrical cables, and to these smaller islands by wireless electricity.
Correct. Lucy,
All affordable for 100, please.
where is our city located?
La Costa is located in the Mediterranean Sea right off the coast of Italy. This allows us to have a bright trade and be able to expand since we are on the water.
Correct. Sam,
Let's do structural for 300.
is fusion safe?
Fusion works by colliding deuterium and tritium atoms together, which creates neutrons, energy, and helium. Helium is an inert gas, so we can simply sell it, while energy will boil the water. The water will create steam, the steam will spin a turbine, and the turbine will generate electricity. That electricity is fed into our normal grid, and the main issue is tritium emits radiation, but we can mitigate that for a small risk and a huge trade-off.
Correct. Lucy,
All sustainable for 400, please.
what is our sterilization method for drinking water?
This doesn't have anything to do with bodily fluids, so I have no idea.
Sam,
Let's do structural for 400. We use ultrafiltration, which takes out the larger substances in the water. And then we also use pressure to pass the water through a nanomembrane, which will remove the smaller impurities and salts. And then finally, we use a UV sterilizer to remove all the bacteria.
correct. Please choose another one.
Structural for 400.
How does La Costa's infrastructure assure its safety from natural disasters?
We have sirens, which once sounded will trigger our pedals to open, which will cover the commercial zone of our city from whatever danger could happen. We also have our platforms raised 3 meters above the water to stop crashing waves from hitting it, and lightning rods above the tower to stop lightning from striking places.
Correct. Lucy,
All affordable for 300, please.
what does the Tech Glove do and what is it used for?
The Tech Glove is a communication device that goes on your hand like a glove. You're able to communicate people who aren't there with you through the click of a button, and it shows a hologram. You're also able to translate languages you're not familiar with, such as sign language.
Correct. Sounds futuristic. Sam,
Let's do foldable for 400.
how is our transportation included in everyday life?
I don't really get out of the lab much. I don't really know.
Shocker. Lucy,
All affordable for 200, please.
what is La Costa's most popular holiday?
Crozon de la Costa is the Costa's most popular holiday. It is on June 13th. People rally in the street, eat cake, and wear crazy outfits.
Correct. Sam,
Let's do sustainable for 200.
how does La Costa's recycling system keep the city sustainable?
We use seaweed to package and preserve materials, and aluminum and glass, which is infinitely recyclable. We bring these materials to our recycling center over here through this conveyor belt, and then whenever it gets to the recycling center, we turn it into reusable materials to reuse or sell.
Correct. Lucy,
All structural for 200, please.
how does La Costa guarantee your safety and security?
La Costa has SWAT, Sheriff's Department, Police Department, and more. We also have emergency services like coming or injured. You can see over here on our poles that we have cameras that allow us to see who's speeding and who's not.
Correct. Sam,
Let's do sustainable for 100.
with all the innovations in La Costa, how is the city zoned to ensure the mental health and wellness of its citizens?
We have our residential and commercial zones located on the platform. Commercial zones are up here, and our residential zones are back here for ease of access. And then the industrial zones are located on these smaller islands for the safety of our citizens.
Correct. Lucy, if you get this right, it's a tie. What is the cleaning method of the water and fish farms?
Aquaponics, a circular system. Oysters and kelp take in fish manure and release nutrients that go back into the plants. You can see our fish farms located here, here, and here.
Correct. Now for the tie. Sam, if you get this right, you win. What is vital in the engineering design process?
First, you state the problem. We had to build a floating city on the Mediterranean Sea with innovative solutions. Next, you generate ideas. We had 2 engineers come in and talk to us about what we should do for our solutions. Then we plan and select solutions. We research different components that we could use in our city. Then you build the item. We used 3D design software and modeled out the city and then built it off of the model. Then you evaluate. The 2 engineers came back and tested the different mechanics of the city and what was going good and what wasn't. Then you present the results. We're so proud to show the city off. And
Correct. Sam wins. If you guys want to learn more about our city and how our team developed it, please just scan this QR code right here. See you next time at the Household Hustle.
What challenges did your team face while building the model or preparing the city presentation, and how did you overcome them?
One of our challenges was, like the essay, it was hard to do it with just a few words. So we split people who are better at doing the recycling and talk about that, or talking about our educational centers and stuff like that. So we split people who are better at doing and talking about that.
this it was a long process of figuring out what we should do, what we should put here, and how do I keep this under 7 minutes. Eventually, we managed to figure out what we had here.
Our amazing team is comprised of both 7th and 8th graders, and they go to our Future City class during different hours of the day. So we're really trying to find the time to work together and just finish these projects. It was a bit of a struggle, but we managed to work it out very well.
What are the environmental impacts of your floating city, and how does your city mitigate these impacts?
We originally were going to, we were thinking, we use a lot of recycling in here. This is to stop pollution from plastics and stuff. So we also have no use of plastics. We do not bring in or bring out plastics. However, we will collect them out of the ocean. But for the materials that aren't plastic, we recycle them in the recycling center to make sure that they're that they're getting put back to use.
Another thing was if it rains or hails, that's the reason we have this flower petal. It can open and close. The reason it opens is it acts like an umbrella, so when it rains or hails, it protects these properties to not get damaged.
We also use organic products such as soaps. We take different materials from the ocean, use it and release it back into the ocean. That way we're not polluting the ocean rather than helping it out.
How do you attract and support a diverse population?
Tourism is actually about 70% of our money for La Costa. We offer many different museums, education centers, things that are just really high quality, and that brings in a lot of people who are curious about how our floating city works.
We are very controlling of making sure people are accepted into our city, and we are not turning people away just because of how they look or sound or anything like that. And so we also still have hate crime, which is punishable.
Another thing that helps people come, people with different languages, we have this tech glove which you put on your arm, and it helps people talk to each other, people who don't know sign language, and also just other different languages people don't know.
How does your city support vulnerable or low-income families?
La Costa is equal opportunity housing. We also have free healthcare, things like that. We want to make sure that everybody who wants to is able to come to our city and have a good life there.
We also have many job opportunities. Other than engineering fields, we also have in the commercial districts, there's stores that you can work for. There's companies that you can do office work for. There's many opportunities to work.
Another thing on the jobs is you can see these are educational centers, which are also teachers, jobs for teachers.
Do you want to describe your innovative flotation system a little bit?
We use bamboo, which is placed under the platforms, and that allows our platforms to float. We have it specially designed so that we provide enough bamboo and enough air to allow our city to float exactly 3 meters above, so that crashing waves do not hit our city.
Initially, we wanted to build our city like layers stacked up, but more so thinking about it, if it were to fall over, there would be really no life. So having our city laid out like this format, having it be able to float on the water but still have mooring lines that way it doesn't float away, was probably the best decision that we could do.
Could you talk a little bit about the transportation plan?
Yes, we have cars and buses and bikes, which are all shared, which are AI driven. And the reason we have it as AI driven is because, say like one car is going to the right, you don't want them to hit each other, so the other can go left or just wait a little. And it's also sanitary, so people don't get sick and there's less crashes.
We have our heliplanes right here, which are able to fly up like helicopters and fly in the air like planes, which provide a good mix of mobility and speed.
You can see over here we have our electric ferries. They're able to move through our city very well with our bridges that raise and lower, and those are our sources for trade.
What resources did you use to learn about engineering in the city?
As I said, we had 2 engineers come in and talk to us about what we could do for our city, and also testing what we already had. Like, we were suggested to use UV sterilization for our water systems.
We also researched different engineers and what their jobs were, how they would apply to our city. So thinking in the minds of an engineer, we worked on different parts of our city to make sure they're the best of quality for our residents.
Just like she said, we had this assignment on a paper where we had to search up a few engineers that we were maybe most interested or wanted to learn about, and then we had to write that and the teacher would check it to see if you're right, and then we talk over it.
Do you want to elaborate on the different types of engineers and what they do in your city?
Probably the biggest engineer that we use is mechanical engineers. We have our flower petals, our conveyor belt down there. Of course, all the smaller things like the recycling plant and how it processes everything. The mechanical engineers do play a pretty big part there. We also have our chemical engineers working in the recycling plants to figure out how to efficiently turn old and used materials into new and reusable stuff.
We also had civil engineers with help with the buildings, roads, and the concrete.
Another one is nuclear engineers, and they focused on fusion energy in our city.
Do you want to talk about the thing that took the most iterations in the design process?
I feel like it would be like, we wanted our thing to be like evenly centered and organized, and also the details that took like multiple hours and days. As you can see, we individually just dotted it and painted. That was one of our hardest things.
Could you just expand on the nuclear fusion?
So we have our fusion energy graph right here. The T and the D. The D is deuterium and the T is tritium. Both of those will collide and cause a fusion, which will release neutron, energy, and helium. Then the energy will boil water, water creates steam, steam spins a turbine, and the turbine will generate the electricity from spinning, while the helium will just be an inert gas, so we can pretty easily sell that. And then we also have it so the tritium, we build our facilities in a way that mitigates the radiation from tritium, which makes it a very safe and a very clean source of energy.
Our fusion energy plant is located down here at the bottom of our flower petal flag thing. This because fusion energy emits heat, and water is a natural cooling system, so we wanted to keep that down there. That way, nothing was being harmed.
That's
How do
time.
you use them?
You have 3 minutes to look them off.
You wanna see the reason?
Yes, please.